going on, y'all? Thank you for coming back to Two Light Skinned Brothers with Sense. I'm Travis.
Dominique.
No full name this time?
Nah, nothing. You have to do it for the first one so they get an idea. Second
Gotcha.
one, you can call yourself whatever after that.
Cool. So I wanted to pick his brain about something he doesn't even know what I'm going to ask him about. So we're going to see what's going to happen. Transgender bathroom issues. How you feel?
How I feel. So, as a person with kids of both genders, well, two separate kids. Oh, yeah. One boy, one girl. How do I feel about it? I'm more of an advocate for my daughter as far as like, when she gets old enough to possibly go into the bathroom by herself, say, the ages of 7, 8, 9. I don't like it. I don't need some man walking in behind my daughter saying, "Oh, I identify with a woman, so I'm gonna go in here." No, you're not. My daughter's in there. But I mean, not saying that everybody that does that is a pervert or anything like that. But it's just, I had to come to the realization today. 'Cause somebody actually asked me that today, and I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. They was like, "Well, why don't you take your daughter in the bathroom with you?" Have you seen the inside of men's bathroom?
Yeah, I've heard their bathrooms are worse though.
It's possible.
I've heard women's bathrooms are a lot nastier than ours.
It's possible, but guys, some people go into a public some guys go into a public bathroom and purposely miss the toilet.
Aim is horrible.
Purposely miss the toilet. I mean, if I have to do anything more than number one, I'm saving it for home. I mean, I'm sorry. That's just the way that is. That's just the way that is.
I don't really fall into that category. When it's time to go, it's time to go. Now I try, but sometimes when your stomach says go, you don't really have a chance to really have that conversation, and you just gotta go. And the chips fall as they may.
Yeah, but so trying to rein it back in. I mean, I'm kind of on the fence about it, but like I said, for my daughter's purpose, it's like I don't like that, because you try to set the duality of having separate bathrooms for different genders is, yes, for sexual identity and sexual identification and gender roles as well. Seeing what a woman is supposed to do when she goes to the bathroom, seeing what a man is supposed to do when he goes to the bathroom. That's how kids actually, gather some sense of self, as their particular gender. So it's really tough to really weigh that one. I'm just more of an advocate for my daughter. Please don't walk in there after my daughter. We're going to have some major issues, or at least looking creepy walking in after my daughter.
And as the one who doesn't have any children, I definitely think this affects women and children, way more than it affects us.
Yeah.
Because I know that I assume that when we go to the restroom, I personally just don't care who's in there. I go in and do what I have to do, and I leave, and hope that the person walking in front of me don't go to the middle stall when there's only 3. I was at the mall the other day, and this guy walks into the bathroom in front of me. He walks straight to the middle urinal. That's guy code. I just thought that was like an unwritten rule. Like, don't go to the middle one. Go to the left or the right. So I'm standing there.
If you're the first one in there, go to either side. But then also, another one is don't talk to me while I'm peeing at the urinal.
And there wasn't anyone at the 3 that were they were all empty. So he had all his options. No. And he walked straight to the middle, and I'm like,
no.
So I went to a stall. But anyway, I don't feel like this affects us as much as it affects them. Now, parts of me, I do feel like, everybody kind of deserves, the right to be comfortable. But
True.
At the same time, I know that this thing, no matter what side it falls on, the other side will not be comfortable. No. Because if you start making the law that transgender men and women can go into the restroom that they identify as, you're going to make biologically born men and women uncomfortable. Yeah. And I guess transgenders are, I hope that's not offensive to say, the transgender community is already uncomfortable right now because they don't have a comfortable place to go to.
You're politically correct. It's okay.
Trying to be, people get mad about this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think that there's any way to do this that's going to be a great solution.
No, it's always going to it's going to be a loser somewhere.
Parts of me feel like it was something that wasn't broken, and we're trying to fix it right now.
Absolutely.
I think that they made do, not that they were supposed to or they had to, but I feel like they made do with the options that they had.
Yeah, and somebody brought up that point that you just made, like the system really wasn't broken. It really wasn't. If you look like a woman, who am I to stop you from going into the woman's bathroom
and no one's gonna question
yeah, no, unless you put somebody at each bathroom everywhere you go saying, "What are you?"
Right.
I need to see your birth certificate to make sure you can go in this bathroom. At that point, you might as well turn into a freaking club.
And I don't want anybody to think that either of us believe that transgender women or men are pedophiles.
No.
Because I do believe that a pedophile is going to be a pedophile no matter how they look. And
Absolutely.
I think that a pedophile will try to do whatever it is they do regardless. And, if this gets stopped of them trying to do stuff in the bathroom, they're going to find another way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I hate that it's now about to affect me and my profession because I am a teacher.
Ooh.
And I was kind of like, okay, this thing just happened within like the past 6 months. And I'm like, maybe we got some time before it makes it down to the public school system. No. We just got an email like 2 days ago telling us that things are about to change, and per the government's new law they just passed, I'm not about to look it up because I don't really care at this point. The law they just passed now means that students who identify as a specific gender, they now need to have the right to use facilities for that gender or a private restroom or whatever. So that alone makes me nervous because I feel like that's going to be taken advantage of at some point or another.
Very much so. Yeah, it's going to be taken advantage of, but then also for the kids who, I remember high school. I barely knew who I was. Not, as far as sexual orientation, but,
in general.
Yeah, you're going to have kids who one day feel, may come out as, or identify more as a woman, and and start using the women's bathroom, but then at some point probably be made fun of, and from the people that they used to hang out with, but then mess around and change back, and you're gonna get those kids that are gonna be like, nah, you can't change back, you're either this or you're either that.
Right.
So it's gonna be a lot of prejudice towards that, and my wife is in the school system as well as a teacher, and yeah, she's voiced her opinion about that, and it's gonna be tough. It's really going to be tough, and as teachers, they're going to look to you guys also as somewhat of a counselor, as far depending on which ones you get, the relationship with your student, what kind of relationship you have.
College ain't teach me nothing like this.
No.
And to be honest with you, college don't teach you 80% of the stuff you need to know to teach in the public school system, but that's neither here nor there.
Barely teach you 80% of what you need to know about life.
Yeah. And the thing is, like you said, I didn't know who I was at 8, barely knew who I was at 18. So I don't feel like an 8-year-old can know at 8 I was born in the wrong body and I'm supposed to be this. Like, that just doesn't make sense to me, because I'm like, if little Justin comes in on Monday and he's just regular old Justin, but then he comes in on Tuesday and he's like, don't call me Justin, no, my name's Justine and I need to use a female's restroom. Am I now supposed to be like, okay, hey, it's Tuesday, you're a female today, so go, let's make special accommodations for you. But he comes back in on Wednesday and he's back to being Justin. That's my biggest fear. Yeah. It's not necessarily the children having those thoughts, because that ain't my business. But it's how are we as professionals supposed to deal with this now without catching a lawsuit? Because that's the biggest thing that's going to start happening now is children are going to be denied certain rights. They're going to go home and tell their parents, and their parents are going to raise a ruckus about it, and that's the part that I don't want to happen, because
it's going to be really, really tough. And what we're gonna have to do as parents, educators, employees who basically take care of our kids throughout the day. Mm-hmm. I just want to say thank you. You deal with a lot of crazy kids. Thank you. But you're probably gonna have to treat it, on a case-by-case basis. You're right. Somebody's gonna come in one day, I'm Justin. Next day, I'm Justine. It's like, all right, okay. And you don't go to the bathroom with them, but you go. Well, you guys have your own bathroom, right? Mm. Oh, so yeah, you'll be using bathroom with Justin and Justine. So,
and see, and the other thing that I'm kind of thinking ahead about is when the other students start noticing that this one particular student is not taking restroom breaks with the class, because in elementary school, that's pretty much how they do. If you don't have a restroom in your room, you take restroom breaks. Yeah. And if you notice that this child is always being escorted off to go to the restroom, they're going to start to notice, because kids are not as dumb as people think they are. They're going to start recognizing that, and they're going to start asking questions. And then, I just think about black kids, because that's my major clientele. Mm-hmm. How they're going to start treating the students who are transitioning, especially like if they come to school and it's not a uniform school, and they come to school in the uniform of the opposite sex that they are. Like, all of those kinds of questions are the things that I'm concerned about.
Well, these kids nowadays, they're more harsh. They're more, let's say, cyberbullying was never an issue, when we went to school. So, but these kids nowadays, honestly, they're a little soft, but they get their feelings hurt real quick, real quick. So, as adults in this society, we have to be somewhat of counselors and voices of reason. And if that means having to understand the point of view of a transgender kid who feels that they are transgender, we have to cater to that. And really, and none of us would be in, sometimes their shoes, but, we're going to have to give them the best advice we can from our point of view. That's just the way it's going to go.
And that's going to be the most difficult part.
Yeah.
They say they're going to provide us with, professional developments to help us with all of that. And I'm going to be all ears, because I feel like, in a sense, and this may sound stupid when it comes out of my brain, we're going to have to help students through a personal situation without being personal ourselves, without inflicting our personal feelings into it, which I feel like is going to be a very difficult thing for me, because as of right now, everything that we deal with is like surface stuff. It's not like really deep, aside from serious stuff that goes on at home. But this is like in the child and what they're going through mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, and having to help you through that without giving any of my personal opinion and all that. So I already know that that's going to be one of my biggest challenges. But I know it'll all work out for the good. But
Yeah.
I wanted to ask him that because he has children.
Well, also, this rule, whatever it is, it's possibly going to mess up us hosting the 2017 All-Star Weekend for the NBA. There have been talks where they're talking about pulling it because if the transgender cannot use the bathroom that they identify with, they want to pull it from the city because of the rule. And because I think Charlotte was one of them that said, pretty much like, they're like, no, we're not going to do that.
But see, the thing was, Charlotte passed the law saying you're allowed to use the restroom of your gender identity.
Right.
Charlotte passed that ordinance, and then Governor McCrory said no.
Right.
That ain't how this works.
Right.
They need to go to the restroom, and private businesses are allowed to deny, and that's what caused the issue.
Right. And that's how it came about. So when that
sorry about that.
technical difficulty.
We were talking about transgender something.
Yes, transgender and the effect that it's having on Charlotte hosting the 2017 All-Star Game. Mm-hmm. But I think what we were saying was that because of the transgender community, the bill was passed. Charlotte passed the bill, the ordinance or whatever it's called, and Governor McCrory said no. Mm-hmm. And in return, the NBA, who of course they're going to take the political approach and support everybody. And really, they said that if Charlotte's not going to support it, they were going to take the All-Star Game from Charlotte, which is totally tragic because I've been waiting for something like this to happen in Charlotte for like the longest. Because I mean, the only other thing bigger than this is one of our previous mayors put in a bid for Charlotte to host the Olympics. But personally, I don't think that the transgender community. I can't say it because I'm not really sure, but I can't speak for them. But, my thing was, how does the bathroom laws change who would come out to this? Because, I mean, this is a big revenue and income getter for Charlotte. So, I mean, why would the transgender community not support whether they have it or not?
Well, I don't think it's necessarily whether they would support it or not. I think it has more so to do with people who come being comfortable and being able to use the bathroom.
Yes.
I think that is because Charlotte's would get a lot of visitors, and the NBA will want everyone to have a level of comfort when they're here. So I think it's more so of that. But it's unfortunate that Charlotte has lost so much money over the bathroom bill, because they say we're in like the millions, or is it the billions? It's probably millions. I think they said we're in the millions. We've lost like millions of dollars in revenue, potential revenue. Like PayPal was supposed to come and they stopped, and people have been pulling stuff out left and right. Amazon, I think, was supposed to do some more expanding, and I think they might have halted that. All around, it's just unfortunate. But I think this, like the gun conversation from our previous video, is something we're going to be having for a long time.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, once again, more hot button issues for this election year.
So that's going to wrap it up. This is just an extra video for y'all. We don't know our schedule of when we're going to be doing videos, so you just need to make sure you subscribe, and you just get lucky sometimes and you'll happen to see a video.
Yeah.
In the meantime, you can email your questions for us to answer to two lightskinbros@gmail.com. That's the number 2 lightskinbros@gmail.com.
I'll be checking it every day.
And we'll answer your questions on air. So, thank you for watching. Make sure you like, rate, comment, and subscribe. Share it on all your social media platforms. And we'll be hollering at y'all later.
Yep.